Students, this is your egg buying and storing read aloud from our culinary arts textbook. Buying eggs. When you buy eggs, select them from a refrigerated case. Open the carton to inspect them. The eggs should be clean and whole without cracks. They should not be leaking or stuck in the carton. Buy them by the sell date. Eggs are sold according to the grade and size standards set by the USDA. The grade and size, which are clearly marked on the package, have no relationship to each other. Grades. The USDA grade shield on a package means the eggs have been federally inspected for wholesomeness. The grade is determined by the inner and outer quality of the egg at the time of packaging. Workers examine egg interiors with bright lights in order to sort out unacceptable ones. And when they work with those bright lights, we talked about this the other day, that process is called candling. And I wanted to reiterate what this would look like as far as why we don't see baby chicks and the eggs at the grocery store. So if you think back to our discussion the other day, when we held an egg up to a bright light, it looked like this. The light was very easily able to shine through, and we know that this was not a fertilized egg that we would buy from the store. But if an egg has been fertilized, we talked about how it would be shadowed, and you can clearly see that's what's happening here with this egg that has been fertilized, which will be a baby chick when it hatches. But to show you the process a little bit, this is just one example of what's out there for images that you can search, but it's pretty cool. You can see how the egg progresses over a period of days to see the fertilization that, yes, there's indeed a baby chick. So you can see the blood vessels starting to form. And then obviously you're seeing more limbs and body parts until it gets to the point where, yeah, it's pretty shadowed. But that's just a great example of what this would look like and how the process of candling works to make sure that those fertilized eggs stay out of the grocery stores and stay with the farmer or the egg producers. More about grades. The 3 egg grades are AA, A, and B. All have the same nutritive value, however, appearances differ after cooking. Grade AA and A eggs have a thicker white suitable when appearance is important, as for fried and poached eggs. So basically when you can see the egg. Grade B eggs can be used in baked goods, when appearance does not matter, basically when you won't see the eggs. Supermarkets typically carry grades AA and A, and this is what that USDA grade shield will look like on your cartons. It'll either be stamped or printed on. And then you can see a great example here of this fried egg, how the whites are thicker and more prominent. The yolk stands up more prominent. That would be a great example of this is likely a AA or A egg. Whereas our grade B eggs would be put into baking mixes to help create your end product, and you're not going to see the eggs. So therefore, it doesn't matter if the yolks or the whites are prominent because it's just mixed in anyways. Size. Eggs are classified into sizes by the minimum weight for a dozen, so sizes can vary slightly in the same carton. The sizes most commonly sold are medium, large, extra large, and jumbo. As a general rule, recipes assume that large eggs will be used. If you use eggs of another size, you may need more or fewer eggs for the same results. The price of eggs depends on the size as well as the supply of various sizes. Check the unit price to determine which size is the best buy. And the way that we would use unit price is we would take the price of the carton. So let's say the carton was, like $2.40. And then you have 12 eggs in that carton. Well, you would take $2.40, divide that by 12 to get your price per egg. And if I'm doing my math correctly, that would be 20 cents per egg, right? And if I'm wrong, count me wrong. But it would roughly be that price. And then you can basically take your 18 count carton eggs and do a price for those divided by 18. And then you could figure out, well, is the dozen count carton the better buy, or is the 18 carton, 18 count carton, the better buy. So just using unit pricing, take that price divided by how many eggs, and yeah, you can figure out which is definitely the better deal. Fun little factoid, because I'm sure some of you have heard about ostrich eggs before, but I wanted you to be able to see the comparison. So, an ostrich egg is the largest egg from any living bird that we currently have roaming the earth, and it's roughly the equivalent of 24 chicken eggs. So, if I look at a chicken egg in comparison to the ostrich egg, it would take me 24 of these approximately to make one full ostrich egg. As far as differences in weights, the ostrich egg is going to be approximately 3.1 pounds. That's pretty average. Whereas a chicken egg, you're looking at about like 2 ounces for a large size egg. So you can see the differences there, which is pretty cool. Storing eggs. Since eggs are highly perishable, take them home right away after shopping and store them immediately. Handle eggs gently to prevent cracking them. Always discard dirty eggs and any that are cracked or leaking. Don't wash eggs before storing them. Washing eggs at home removes the protective coating that prevents bacteria from getting inside the shell. Refrigerate eggs in the original carton rather than the egg tray in the refrigerator door. Each time you open the door, the temperature drops, so eggs stored in the door may lose quality. In addition, since eggshells are porous, they pick up aromas from other foods if stored uncovered. So you can see from this picture here, this is an example of an egg tray in a door. Yes, they seem very convenient and great and wonderful and yada yada, but not so much. Not when we think about food safety and quality loss. We definitely don't want to be storing our eggs here. So the better place would be somewhere in these inner shelves of the refrigerator where the temperatures will be a lot more constant and stable. Storing eggs. Raw eggs stay fresh in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks, depending on freshness when purchased and the refrigerator temperature. Refrigerate leftover cooked eggs and egg mixtures immediately and use them within 3 days. Use hard cooked eggs in the shell within a week. A recipe may call for only the yolk or the white. You can refrigerate leftover raw yolks, covered with water so they don't dry out, for 2 days and whites for 4 days in a tightly covered container. For longer storage, you can freeze them. Now, when you freeze your eggs, you need to make sure that you freeze the yolks separate and the whites on their own. So don't try to freeze an egg whole because that does not work very well. So if you're going to freeze eggs, just put your yolks together, stick them in a little tub or container, let them freeze, cover them up, put them in a Ziploc bag once they're frozen. Awesome. With whites, what you can do is you can take your ice cube tray and put 1 egg white per ice cube tray, and then it's a lot easier for measuring purposes when you actually go back to use them in future recipes. A red spot on the egg means that 1 or more small blood vessels in the yolk ruptured, but the egg is safe to use. If an egg has an unpleasant odor when opened, it is spoiled, so discard it. So this picture here shows you an example of a blood vessel, and I think a lot of people find this to be pretty disgusting, but here's what I need you to consider. How many of you have ever been doing something and all of a sudden you bumped into something, you got knocked down, you fell down, I don't know, whatever the case is, but you ended up getting a bruise? And what we know about bruises is that they are broken blood vessels. Little blood is going to kind of like seep out of those vessels. That's what's causing it to pool and creates your bruise essentially, right? So a blood spot is basically what's happening with the hen and the egg, is that there was some rupturing of that blood vessel and it's pooling a little bit, but it doesn't mean that the egg is bad. Now, if it makes you feel better to just toss it out, by all means do that. If the egg is just going to be mixed in with something like muffins, cakes, whatever else, you can still safely use it. It's fine. I would say the time where people maybe get a little bit discouraged is, let's say I want to use this egg and I'm going to turn it into a sunny side up egg, and then this red blood spot is just glaring at me. Sometimes that's just a visual turnoff. And so again, if that's the case, then just discard it, grab a different egg, and you're good to go. But otherwise, if you were to consume that, it's not going to hurt you. And that concludes our egg buying and storing read aloud. Make sure you've answered your questions on Canvas, and we will continue on.